guys, just dropping this video as an interlude because for some reason I could not form a welcome intro to save my life. So here I am. I just want to welcome you all to my video. This is going to provide you with 10 tips to pass the nurse practitioner licensure exam. So if you are in nurse practitioner school or if you just graduated nurse practitioner school, keep watching, keep listening for the best tips. These literally help save my life. And really easy tips that you can use, and it will help you pass the exam. And if you have any tips, make sure to drop them down below. If you have questions, drop them down below. I'm always trying to do my best to communicate with you guys, chat with you guys, and I love to hear from y'all. Give yourself about 4 to 6 weeks to actually study for this exam. So this exam is a pretty big deal. I mean, if you pass it, you get your license to practice. So you want to pave out, I would recommend around 4 to 6 weeks. Not much longer, not much shorter than that. Simply because that gives you 4 weeks that you can prepare strenuously and really dedicate time to focus on being successful. My second tip is to take the Predictor exam at least 2 months before your test date. Now, I did this with my school. My school organized a way for us to take a form of the FNP exam as a predictor, and we obtained our predictor scores about shortly after, along with pretty much a study plan and areas that we were weak on. And I really like this because it allowed me to focus on things that I was weak on, and 2 months is a good amount of time. So even if you do bad, if you do poorly on the predictor exam, you still have that 2 months to sharpen up your skills, sharpen up your learning, focusing on areas that you might not have performed well on. So this was really, really helpful for me. And fortunately for me, my school pretty much included this toward the end of the program. So I just paid for this through the school. Okay, third tip is to create a study plan. This actually pretty much would have been my first go-to study tip. You need to create a study plan, and I recommend creating a study plan based on your predictor exam. So let's say you take your predictor exam ideally 8 weeks before your test date, and you don't perform well on the cardiology section. So this way, creating a study plan to focus on cardiology very first, and then kind of work your way towards other subjects. And of course, studying the subject that you perform the best on very last, very minimal too. And the subject that you perform the worst on, you want to make sure that you study first, and you want to make sure that you spend a lot of ample time on this, so that you can prepare and do well and be successful. So tip number 4, you need to be doing practice questions. Honestly, for me, practice questions was something that I incorporated throughout my entire program in nurse practitioner school. As I was studying for my exams, I would do practice board questions to prep me for those exams. So this was pretty much like a daily thing that I did in order to prepare myself. But for the boards especially, I think it's incredibly important to incorporate practice questions, because how else are you going to know how you are grasping this material? How are you going to know if you are really capturing everything that you learned throughout your studies if you don't do practice questions? So I think it's super important. Test your knowledge, test what you learned, and I did about 25 practice questions per day minimum. Like I said, about 4 to 6 weeks prior to my actual board exam, and that's what I recommend. Next tip is I recommend joining an FNP Board Review Facebook group. Now, these are important because this is a great opportunity for you to, first of all, network with other nurse practitioners. Number two, it's a great way of holding yourself accountable of studying. If you have a group, a Facebook group that you're a part of, you're going to have other people who have the same goal in mind, which is to pass their boards. And I was part of a Facebook group that was preparing for their FNP boards, and it was very helpful because every day the group would post questions, practice questions, on the group page for people to answer. And for me, it was beneficial because on days where I guess I didn't have time to do practice questions, I would just go on this website and I would see all of the questions and just answer them. And I felt like it was really a way for me to hold myself accountable of doing questions every day. The more I saw other students participating, it actually it allowed me to gain more motivation to study more and to know that other people are working just as hard to obtain the same goal as myself. The next tip I recommend is reading this book. Okay, first of all, guys, this book was like my Bible. Read all of it from start to finish. Let me put it up closer. So this is the Family Nurse Practitioner Certification Intensive Review by Maria Kondialik. And this book, I swear by it. It is Holy Grail. This is all you need to pass the boards. If you study anything and if you want to just purchase one item, my recommendation is this book, by far. So by the latest version, I think this is the latest version, to be quite honest. I don't know what else. If there is a new version, I don't know about it. But read the exam tips about 3 to 4 days. So first start with this book, right? About 4 to 6 weeks prior to your exam. You want to start on areas, as we mentioned, your weakest areas first. And then about 3 to 4 days prior to your actual exam, only read the exam tips in this book. I don't know why, but I feel like a lot of the exam tips were really relevant when I came to my exam. It's as if she writes the exam questions. It's insane. So please, if there's anything you need to do, if you are studying last minute, just read the exam tips. You won't regret it. If you do anything, please just get this book. Just do it. Just do it. It's not that expensive. I don't think it's that expensive. Anyways, just do it. Oh, 2 days before the exam, do questions. Actually, honestly, I recommend questions, as I mentioned, 25 a day, roughly each day. But a couple days before the exam, you need to be sitting down doing like a full test, like 150 questions in one sitting. You need to get used to sitting in one area for like 3 hours doing 200 questions, because let me tell you, when you get to that test and you have to sit there and do 150, I think it was 150 questions. I think it might be more. No, I think it's 150. You're gonna get tired, you're gonna get exhausted. You're probably even gonna get like a little ADHD like me and be like squirrel in the middle of the test. And in order to prepare yourself for that moment, you need to actually be doing lots of questions in one sitting and prepare yourself to get in exam mode. Okay, so this requires doing multiple tests, and I recommend I think it was board review. I'll list it down in the description. I literally had a brain fart and I forgot, but there was a set of questions that I did that were much harder than my actual exam, but I feel like it prepared me really well because it allowed me to critically think information that I didn't know I would look up, and it was just honestly overall helpful to me, so I recommend it. Okay, I'm gonna kind of race through the rest of these tips just because we're gonna try and keep this video not too long. Okay, so the next tip I would recommend is to do a review course. If you score low on your Predictor exam, this is the Predictor exam that you would take again 8 weeks before your actual test. So if you do score low, I honestly highly recommend getting Collier is the #1 review for me, I would think. And then also Latrina Walden, I think she's amazing. If you are doing AANP, if you're doing AA and C, then I believe Collier kind of is recommended more so. So those are just the 2 reviews I recommend, and I did both reviews, and I honestly, if I could do it all over again, I would do both the reviews all over again because I found them to be both helpful. Latrina is a bit more easier to follow. Her information's not as dense. I feel like she gets to the point and she gives you the meat and potatoes without like stretching it out, because I don't know, Collier is amazing. I thought her review was efficient. I thought it was I thought she was super knowledgeable, but you have to have time to actually watch these videos. Okay, so if you're gonna choose Collier, make sure that you actually have 4 to 6 weeks to study and not like 2 weeks. I mean, you could essentially do it in 2 weeks, but I don't think I would do it. But that's just me. Anyways, get lots of sleep the day before the exam. And this is just preaching to the choir over here, okay? And finally, my last tip is channel positivity. I wrote down over and over again my name along with my credentials, along with, you know, thank you God for allowing me to pass this test. So whatever it is, if you pray, if you know, just positive, I believe in positive affirmations. I believe in speaking positivity into your life. So be positive, be confident, go into the test and know that you're going to pass, and you will pass. You did not go through nurse practitioner school just to fail. Like, you will pass this exam. You were prepared for it. You have everything that you need, and you're watching this video right now, which shows me that you truly want this. And I want it for you. So that is my last tip for you guys. Hope you found this video helpful, and I really hope that you utilize some of the tips in the video. If you took your exam, hit me up in the comments. Let me know how it was. Let me know if these tips were helpful, and let me know what other content that you guys are interested in hearing me talk about. All right, thank you again for watching, and have a great day. Also, as always, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the bell so that you could get notification of when I do my post. All right, thanks, bye.